So I'm still getting used to figuring out how to use Patreon and give clients exclusive unlisted. Now, my issue is how do I get it to the actual Patreon and um, post it as a link for you guys so that we actually get some people that are exclusively paying for Patreon to get on here, because I'm not offering you guys content yet that's unique to you guys, and you're paying $5, three bucks American, $5 Canadian. So it seems like I'd be figuring out here how to do this. It's going to probably take many trials and errors. We shall see. Okay. Create a post. Hopefully that'll work. Hope it works. Also want to see on the live stream if this is actually popping up on YouTube for everybody, where that's not what I'm trying to do. All right, so my channel lives. Nope. All right, so looks like perhaps you guys won't be able to see this live. I'll have to post the link or something ahead of time for you guys. I'm going to ask my brother to help me out for that. Today, we're going to talk about something very important if you're starting the ketogenic diet. It's quite a different way of eating and completely really switching up the fat, protein, and carbohydrates, these macronutrients. So as you know, I'm pretty sure that you understand that a ketogenic diet is a severe restriction of carbohydrates, pretty much a normal amount of protein. And I would say that it's not necessarily a high fat diet, but a higher fat diet. It's higher than what's recommended, but this low fat recommendation is what is actually very unhealthy, because our body primarily needs to build everything from our skin, organs, hair, hormones, molecules. Everything is basically a bunch of fat, cholesterol, and protein. We're being told to limit that. We're also being told to limit the animal fat and protein. We're not plants, so our body, because we're omnivorous, we're able to assimilate plants as well. As often there's a lot of conversion that needs to occur through enzymatic functions. But when you're eating animal food, the fat's there, it's absorbed, it's exactly in the form, because there's a big difference between the flesh of plants and the flesh of mammals, right? So or of fish or birds or anything like that. We have plants and then we have animals, and we're animals, and when we eat animals, everything is in the proper form that is required. So when you're going to drastically reduce your carbohydrates, when you've been really used to eating primarily the majority of your carbohydrates, the majority of your diet is just carbs, and carbs doesn't build anything. Glucose, is strictly a fuel, and fat's a fuel. So fat has a double function. So if you start removing all of this non-essential carbs, you are definitely going to use the fat in the animal food that you're eating in the correct way. Once you lose all that weight, your appetite may increase, and you can add more meals, or you can add fattier meals, and then you can control your weight that way. But really, you don't need that much fat in a ketogenic diet during the weight loss phase. In fact, it can actually slow down the weight loss process. I think that the most natural way is you're going to be eating a wide variety, fish here, chicken here, eggs here, cheese here. You're going to eat a wide variety of animal source nutrition, and you'll have days that are likely going to be higher fat, and there's days that are going to be low carb, low fat, and a little bit higher in protein, and that's okay because you're mixing it up. And it's always important to that once you get off the carbs, your cravings go away, and then you really just eat when you're hungry. And that's usually, especially if you're incorporating animal protein and fat as the majority of your food intake, you're going to have a great level of satiety, and that's going to last a long time. So the majority of the people prior to keto are eating a high carb, low fat diet. And that means that our mitochondria, our body is pretty much adapted and calibrated since we were children to function with glucose as the primary source of energy, which is why glucose is used. It's burnt up fast, and you're hungry every 5 hours. If you overshoot the glucose, you're going to ship the excess into fat, and you'll still be pretty much hungry in 5 hours. And when you start restricting the glucose, first of all, we have stored glucose in our muscles. In our liver, we have liver glycogen, and that's basically glucose attached to water, and it's stored energy. And when you need that, your muscles can access that quick energy for impulsive exercises and things like that to fuel the muscles. But when that energy and that glycogen is used up, the glucose is used, and all that's remaining is water. So the initial 5-ish days that you're going to start the ketogenic diet, you're going to basically lose weight, but that initial weight is likely going to be mostly water weight, because you store a lot more water in your body when you're carving up all the time. So you'll be less puffy, less edematous. It has a diuretic effect, and this has to do with glucose stimulating insulin levels, and depending on how high your insulin is in your body, it can alter the way your kidneys excrete or retain electrolytes, especially sodium. So you're getting this diuretic effect. You're peeing out a lot of water. And when you have a diuretic effect, you lose electrolytes more. And this happens in the first week, where you're losing a lot of water. The more muscle you have under that fat, the more electrolyte disturbances that can occur. So it's encouraged that you begin to put salt on your food, because salt is an essential mineral, and you will be peeing out a lot of that sodium. So you have to maintain that. A telltale sign that you are lacking salt in the adaptive phase of your ketogenic journey is dizziness, especially when changing position from sitting to standing. You're going to get dizzy. Go get salt. Salt your food. You're not salting your food enough if this is happening. Magnesium tends to be excreted as well. And magnesium has many functions, and one of them, it plays a role in muscle contraction. So you can start getting muscle spasms. Mostly people experience it in their legs, in their thighs, sometimes mostly the calves and stuff like that. This can be fixed if you take magnesium sulfate. You can take 500 milligrams. There's other magnesiums and stuff like that, but I like magnesium sulfate. But just make sure you don't take magnesium if it's not mag sulfate. Don't take magnesium that is like milk of magnesia, like a laxative and stuff like that. But they do have, better than nothing. Sometimes you'll find magnesium at the supplement store, and it'll have like different kinds of magnesium, malate, magnesium oxide. I have a variety of magnesiums attached to another mineral. So sulfate, mag sulfate's the best for me, but just load up on the magnesium. If you you can even take Epsom salt baths, which is magnesium sulfate as well. And what else? Potassium can't hurt as well. So those are the three electrolytes. Go get some potassium tablets, some mag sulfate, and salt your food. And take it easy. You know, the first week or two. Um, you know, you're going to go through the keto flu. You're going to not feel the sharpest. You're used to having glucose fueling your brain. Now ketones will fuel 80% of your brain. So your whole body is just not adapted to be efficient at solely using mostly fat and ketones. So so you'll feel sluggish, perhaps. You will feel in these first 2 to 3 days, you'll be peeing a lot. You might feel lethargic. You might feel brain fog. And so take it easy and take the supplements and don't overdrink the water. Eat when you're hungry. And if the symptoms are too difficult for you, then you know what? Don't go strict keto immediately. Just go low carb. You know, eat some more fruits and vegetables for those 2 weeks. If you were somebody who was really carbing up on pastas and juices and everything was carb. You know, ease it. Do a wean, like weaning off of a drug primarily. And so I did about like 3 years of the ketogenic diet, went from 225 down to 170. And that was like roughly 4 to 5 years ago. I'd have to check when my first video was. It's about 4 years ago. But this last year, I've been completely inconsistent. Not like totally off returning to a horrible diet or anything, but very inconsistent. Definitely not keto very often, maybe a more low carbish, and even some days I went off track big time. So I didn't have a very good year, and now I'm you know, back to 197, and I know that when I go very strict carnivore diet, that I can end up doing. Are we going to eat? No, I'm done in 5. I know that. Yeah, I don't remember what I was going to say. What we talking about. Yeah, so I went up to 197. I know that if I'm doing strict carnivore diet, which is like really actually a lot higher in protein and lean, that wow, this is turning out difficult. What's wrong? Why are you crying? Come. All you have to do is say calmly, Grandpa, let me name. So that being said, guys, I was really not consistent. And now I'm up to 197. When I was doing the carnivore diet challenge, and you can see that in my archive videos, in 30 days, I lost 10 pounds. So technically, you know, in 3 months, I can lose all of this weight and be right back. I don't necessarily, you know, need to hurry that much, but I want to be like 180 by the, thank you. I want to be like 180, but bye, love you, sweetheart. I want to be 180. Bye. I want to be about 180 at least for the summer, and then slowly lose towards the fall. What's up? Thank you for my toque. So that's what keto flu is referred to. It's fat adaptation. It is keto adaptation. Bye, love you, sweetheart. Mm-hmm. So yeah, surprisingly, I've been having a pretty rough time with the keto adaptation. Surprisingly, I had some dizziness that occurred, and I had to use some salt, and I've been having horrible, like Charlie horses, leg spasms. So my wife, I told her, I said, Michelle, could you go to the pharmacy and get mag sulfate? If you can't find it, just ask the pharmacist. I'm thinking the pharmacist will show it to you. She's up here. It's difficult. Wait a second, guys. What? Okay, Grandpa's. I know. I don't mind. You can stay, but I'm doing a video, so let me just finish. Anyways, I'll maybe do it. The issue is that the pharmacist is like, well, why does he want that? And she's like, because he's having muscle spasms. She's like, well, why does he think that's going to help? Because he's been taking that as a treatment for years when he gets muscle spasm, and it works. Not to mention, it's in the literature. It's known. There's science behind it. So she's like, well, to my wife, like, well, who are you again to him? And well, I'm not comfortable giving you that. I don't know his medications. And she's like, and I'm going like, these are minerals. And she's like, I'm like, okay, first of all, medication, there's not one essential mineral that will ever do anything horrible to a medication. Some medications can end up depleting minerals, but there's no medication. And I've worked in anesthesia and pharmacology, and I know my meds fairly well. And I'm like, there's no medication that it's dangerous to take an over-the-counter supplement, or else they wouldn't be selling that. So this mag sulfate is just, I've seen it in many supplement stores, and for some reason I'm looking and all I can see is, I'm going like, anyways, Michelle was finally like, and she was asking like, who are you again to him, and that. So Michelle's getting mad, and she's like, what exactly does he do? And she's like, not that it's any of your business, but he works in intensive care unit. So she was like, no. So she just walks her to the supplement aisle that Michelle was there. Michelle was there and she didn't find it. And she goes, this is what we have. And she walked away. She wasted Michelle's complete time. Questioning is none of her business. This is it's like, you're a store, okay? This is not a prescription. Do you have mag sulfate or not? That's all I'm asking. I'm not asking you for your opinion on something. If I did, then I wouldn't be angry right now, kind of thing. So anyways, I tried to call the manager, and I was like, you guys just lost a client. You wasted like my wife's time. I didn't even get what I wanted. She was asking personal questions, who I was, and where I worked, and why would I think certain things. Does this pharmacist hang around the supplement store section? Is she like always there, kind of like anybody grabs like a bottle and she's like, who's that for? Why do you want those supplements? Excuse me, I don't feel very comfortable with you taking that supplement. And it wasn't even a vitamin. Like, at least if it was a fat soluble vitamin, you could get toxicity or something. It's a mineral, it's a salt. Anyways, that's the end of the stream. So have a good one, guys.